my God, man, that is the definition of resiliency. You guys just kept banging away, right? We did whatever we had to do, and we just bought our time. Defense, that was outstanding, man. That was outstanding. And we knew it was just a matter of time. Offense, we get our points, man. Bates, that was freaking ginormous. All right. Look, and I just say this again. This is what great teams do. This is what great teams do. Even when you're having an off day, you find a way, man. You freaking find a way, and you will it to happen. That's what you did today.
And when you have an off day, you show up here. That is a coach that you would run through a wall for. The top two teams in the NFL, in the NFC and the AFC, get it done late yesterday. The Lions late last night, and then the Chiefs, of course, block a field goal to remain undefeated. Good morning, universe. You're damn right we are live every single weekday, even on this beautiful Veterans Day. Today's show is dedicated to all those men and women who have, throughout time, dedicated their lives to the protection of this country, and they continue to do so day in and day out. So a shout out to all of you. We are live on Stadium. Wherever Stadium is, that's where we will be. Amazon Prime Video, Roku TV, YouTube TV, and today we launch on Direct TV. Every day we're getting bigger and better thanks to all of you. Now, as always, we are the most transparent show in all sports betting as well. And yesterday, well, a few of us had some incredible days. Look at AB. Count them up, 7-2. And your boy, 9 straight cashes in a row. That's right. Yesterday, I was 3 for 3, and we put it all on the line today. We've got content coming out of our ears. The easiest thing to do, follow our YouTube page. Turn on the notifications, because every single time we start any content, you will be notified. Now, every weekday, we have a brand new podcast. It's called DTL, the podcast. And you will get the audio at 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you are a premium member, a crew member, you will get the video dropping around 3 p.m. Eastern time. Finally, last piece of housekeeping tonight, we are live on Stadium, 7 Eastern, counting down to Monday Night Football. It's the Dolphins, it's the Rams, the best crew in the building. Now, let's bring in my partner. He's here every single day, making the show look like $1 million. What a weekend. AB, good morning to you, sir. Happy holiday here in the United States.
Absolutely, man. Veterans Day. Everyone who has served is serving, their families as well. That's another big part of it too, because essentially they serve alongside with them while they're overseas. So yeah, shout out to them. This is a very important holiday, and yeah, thank you.
No about it. Corey said it well in the chat. He said, my fellow brothers and sisters who served and are servicing, happy Veterans Day to all of you. Corey, thank you very much. Now, AB, Howie Schwab would have loved a day like today where you come off a weekend where we could do a 3-hour show if we wanted to. But for today, what is the Howie Schwab crew play of the day selections?
Howie would have loved a 3-hour show. My man would have been going off. All right. So Monday Night Football, obviously. Okay. Dolphins at the Rams. You're going Dolphins plus 2.5, Rams minus 2.5. All right. You're going over 48.5 or under 48.5. That number has dropped from 49, and it looks like it's continuing to go that way. But Rafael, update us on that. Polls in the chat. Vote now. Update as we always do at the end of the show.
All right. They are chomping at the bit, so let's waste no more time. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Veterans Day, when all of you are off work today, thank you for joining us here. It is now time for the picks. Oh, and look who I have today. It's an embarrassment of riches. We start with a man who went to the hallowed grounds this weekend. Oh, and he is all over ESPN Radio, and we're so pleased and honored to have him on our team. Z-Man, good morning, sir.
It was a very cold weekend in Notre Dame. This South Florida blood is not used to that. I was it was quite nipply up there. But, I have control of my blood and, my body temperature, kind of like Marines. It's appropriate because today's Veterans Day, and I was able to control that aspect, so I stayed warm.
Yeah, when I think of you, I think of Marine. Hardcore. Just hardcore. That's what I think of Z. By the way,
one of the few things that me and Marines have in common, yes.
at least you saw a good game. Oh my God. All right. Florida State, by the way, their team total, guys, I don't know if you guys saw this, was 7.5. That was their team total. And they didn't cover it. 52-3. How embarrassing. Seminoles, you should be ashamed of yourself. Now, for a lot of you that tune in every single day, this man has been off. He had a little presidential election to tend to, but that is over. And he is back. We missed him so much. He is our numbers guy, Rafael Esparza. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, crew. Happy Veterans Day to everyone that served. Thank you, including my father who served. So thank you for everyone out there. Should be a great holiday Monday. Let's cash some tickets.
Let's do it. And finally, he's the man from the dirty Big Chuck. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Coach, crew. Yeah, happy Veterans Day to all that have and are currently serving this great country of ours. And then congratulations to you and AB. I appreciate you all carrying me. That's the great thing about being a team.
You're damn right. We're a crew for a reason. And every single Monday, we kind of look back on the good things that happened. And AB, I can come to you, and I could look at 8 things before we even talk about Monday Night Football that happened yesterday. What kind of stuck out to you?
I mean, it stuck out. I mean, the Titans Super Bowl season is done. I can't believe no. I want to say this, man. The Lions, that win last night was incredible. And let me tell you this. You know, they say that, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. The Lions coming back and winning last night, you remember 3 years ago, Dan Campbell was screaming with support, crying, tears in his eyes, saying, boys, I know we've lost 15 games by 1 score. If you just believe, it will turn around. And look what they're doing now. It absolutely turned around. There's something to say for just believing and keep fighting, man. That is a win that they earned years ago, and they learned how to win that, man. You can't buy that.
You're damn right. Down 23-7. They held the Texans scoreless in the second half. By the way, I kid you not, I watched it sitting in an Old Navy parking lot across from the San Diego Arena last night as I was picking up my daughter from a Sabrina Carpenter concert, and that's how I watched that game in, and then had to drive all the way back home. Got home like at 12 o'clock or 12:30 my time. So I'm running a little bit on low fuel today, so I need all you guys to pick me up. Z, you were all over the place, but I know you found something good to look at this weekend.
Yeah, for me, I'm so impressed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, they go into D.C. yesterday. Russell Wilson, 3 touchdowns, late touchdown to Mike Williams, who just arrived there the previous week from the Jets. And you know, the big story for me coming out of there, Mike Tomlin's coach of the year, and it's not even close. Like, it's not even close. This team has no business being, what are they, 8-2 now? They have no business. They have no business being 8-2. He handled what was a little bit of a difficult quarterback situation. He handled it perfectly. He pressed all the right buttons. They're so overachieving. 8-2, that Steeler team, there's a reason why he's been the coach there. I think this is the 18th season for him there in Pittsburgh. He's never had a losing season. We all know that. This is by far the coach of the year. That you don't even have to tally the votes. Just give him the award. Come on.
All right, they are 7-2, but your point is well taken. They've won 4 in a row, 7-2. Baltimore 7-3 because they haven't had their bye week yet. Raphael, what stuck out to you this weekend?
Z-Man stole my thunder, but I'm going to go to the dirty South. I know I bash the Saints and LSU all the time, but that win that the Saints did yesterday, winning on special teams with their new head coach, the special teams head coach, was very impressive. The city needed it because they saw LSU get blown out. The Pelicans have more injuries than the operation game. Big win for the Saints yesterday. That was fun to watch because the city needed a W.
Yeah, over a first-place team. Now, you might have taken Charles' thunder right there. Charles, you're a huge Saints fan.
You got me on that one, so I'll just go to your Chefs. How about them down 14-3, battling back at home and getting that victory, which, they needed to miss field goal to get it, but nonetheless, they still got the victory, so shout out to your Chefs.
If you guys haven't seen the cold open from our show last night, I pinned it at the top of our social media. I encourage you to go back and watch it. It's some of my best work. All right, we got to get to the picks right here and right now because all 5 of us are playing today. So, AB, we got Monday Night Football. We'll get to all of that, but I want to get right to the picks. Where are you headed today, sir?
Exactly right, Coach. And I will go to one specific player and one specific prop. Puka Nacua, longest reception, over 23.5 yards. Look, this man has had a month. He's come back from injury. He's gotten kicked out of games. Like, my man has been ready to go. He went off the last time we got him on the field. I think he's going to do it again. Take Puka Nacua, longest reception, over 23.5 yards, -115. My man will take one long tonight.
Wasn't it nice last night on the Texans over? I said on the show, it could be a 3-yard catch and then they could take it 80 yards. What happened? Joe Mixon catches it 3 yards and takes it about 38 to catch it. You had an incredible day. Shout out to you once again. All right, now, Jared in the chat says, I'm ready for the, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Well, the man's right here. He's up next. Z, you're up.
Well, look, I don't know if this part of my play tonight is nuts, but I'm doing a bit of an emotional hedge here, guys. It's the Dolphins, all right? It's the Dolphins. Now, am I trying to pull a reverse jinx here? I don't know. I can't tell you it's a reverse jinx before it actually happens, because that then reverses the reverse jinx, and we're not going to do that here. But I can tell you there's a little bit of an emotional hedge here. We're going to go with the Rams. Rams -2.5. So at least if the Dolphins lose, I say, all right, you know what? I'm not upset because I cashed a ticket here tonight. So we're going to go Rams -2.5. And I also like Jalen Waddle tonight. You may be saying to yourself, Zaslow, Jalen Waddle has done nothing all year since game number 1. And you would be right about that. But I'm going Jalen Waddle. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Jalen Waddle, 80+ yards tonight. Major plus money, +400. That's right. He's done nothing this year. And Tyreek Hill is a question mark for tonight. I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to wind up playing. It feels like the Dolphins at 2-6 are at that place where we're not fighting through injuries, at this point of the season. It's almost 1-2-3 Cancun. So I think Jalen Waddle gets a lot of looks, a lot of targets tonight. We're going Jalen Waddle, 80+ receiving yards, +450.
I like how that looks. We're playing over-under coming up in about 25 minutes from right now. Big Chuck, you got 2 plays coming to you.
NHL, Kings versus Flames. The Kings, they arrive in Calgary going over the total in 4 of their last 6 games. And Flames games have cashed the over in 6 of their 8 versus the Kings. Plus, we get an even number. I'll go ahead and back the over 6. Lastly, Devin Achane over 46.5 receiving yards since Tua's return. Achane has 14 catches and 108 receiving yards. I see him getting 6+ targets tonight out of the backfield and getting us 47+ receiving yards on prime time.
I love it. Prime time, 7 to 8, only on Stadium. Raphael, it's coming to you.
We're going with the 6-point teaser NFL because this number will move. The Rams will be -3 before we go on the air tonight. So give me the Rams +3.5 and the under 55 6-point teaser -120. Grab it now because, like I said, this number will move before prime time tonight. And then we're going to Chicago and the Bulls. Zach LaVine, who's probably not going to be a Bull during the trade deadline, but he's on fire. Give me over 18.5 points, laying a -120. He's averaging 22 points a game, and he's auditioning for another team every game he plays.
There's a lot of good stories coming out of the NBA right now. They get overshadowed with all of the NFL stories as well. Michael says, I love that Rams -2.5. I don't know if you guys have heard, but your boy is on a little bit of a tear. I'm putting my perfect record on the line today, 9-0. But these are my 2 big ones today. I love the over. I absolutely love the over. When you look at recent games in prime time, it's been a lot of points, a lot of excitement. So I'm going to lean into it. And then Tua, they're going to be playing from behind. Over 1.5 passing touchdowns at -110. I can't even believe it's this low. This guy tonight will have 2 or 3 because I'm leaning into the narrative that the over will cash and the Dolphins will need late touchdowns to help it get there. All right, what a good vibe to start. You guys know what's still to come. We got Monday mishaps. Where are my guys going? What will happen over the weekend? They will tell you. Also, we play over and unders. Also, there's plenty more storylines from the NFL. We're just getting started. We are live on Stadium, and today we launch on DirecTV. Shout out to them, and shout out to all of you. We're just getting our week started. It's Veterans Day. It is DTL. Driving the line only on Stadium. All right, you degenerates out there, we continue on with our YouTube page. Now, AB, we've been talking about Derrick Henry not getting any MVP love lately because of Jared Goff, because of Josh Allen. Well, combined, they threw for 7 interceptions on Sunday. Does that now open the door for your boy?
Unfortunately not. Look, I remember a couple of years ago here in Tennessee, the man ran for 2,000 yards, a feat that 8 people in the history of biblical times have ever done, and he didn't even make the top 3 in terms of voting for the MVP. This is a quarterback award. If he didn't win it with that, I don't know what the man could do. Like it's just impossible.
I can't argue with you. Z, what do we got to do for Derrick Henry to get some love right now?
I've loved Derrick Henry as an MVP candidate this year. I would have him ahead of Lamar Jackson, but I think we all know that that's not going to wind up being the case. Jared Goff can't win MVP. I know he's been in the conversation the last week or so. If you have 5 interceptions, it's not just that you have 5 interceptions. If you have 5, like Jared Goff would have been better off with the Lions losing last night to enhance his MVP case. Because, hey, if the most valuable player doesn't play well and then you lose, well, that makes sense. Well, you can't be the most valuable. You were horrible and your team still won. That goes against being the most valuable player. So Jared Goff is out of the discussion now. They were still able to win despite him throwing 5 interceptions last night. But I'm still keeping an eye on Jaden Daniels. You know, they're not leading the division anymore, Washington. I want to see what Daniels looks like throughout November and then into December, but I still think Jaden Daniels has a great chance.
Raphael, your thoughts?
Let's see. The King is 50-1 to win the MVP. 13 quarterbacks are ahead of him. Why don't you just call it QVP, not MVP? QVP, because there's no way they're giving it to a running back. Brock Purdy is ahead of him. I can't believe the disrespect Derrick Henry is getting right now. 50-1. Baker Mayfield has better odds. Give me a break.
I feel like it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle, just a little bit, that maybe these voters will wake up in the last 6 or 7 weeks of the season. They still have 7 games left, so we'll see. All right, we are back on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, welcome back. What a beautiful Monday morning. The live number is popping. A lot of people out there just waking up, enjoying your holiday here in the United States, and you're starting it with Driving the Line. And a reminder, we are now on DirecTV as well starting today. Now, you guys know we have partners, we have friends all over the place, but this is a staple. And today, Monday Mishaps is brought to you by Weekend in Taipei.
You said no more secrets.
Shut up and let me drive. Come on, who is this guy?
I'm an undercover DEA agent. To finally take Kwong's operation now.
Bring me my wife, and you killed John Mahler.
So you came back after all this time for Kwong, but not for me?
I just need 1 weekend. I'm not gonna lose you again. So you haven't changed a bit.
Thanks.
Weekend in Taipei, now playing only in theaters.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. If you guys haven't seen Weekend in Taipei yet, I encourage you to go. And don't sit in the front row. Move it back just a little bit. All right, this is one of my favorite segments of the entire week. And, AB, I got to start with you. Not everything goes right over the weekend, and we are here for it. What is your Monday mishap?
Look, the Tennessee Titans, okay, we all understand that they're not a good football team, but here's the problem. You look around the NFL, and every player that they got rid of this offseason is balling out of control. Hassan Haskins had a game. Derrick Henry should be the MVP of the league. I could keep going. Did you see Danico Autry last night? The Grand Ole Autry got himself a fumble out there. Literally, all of these former Titans are around the league balling, and we got Will Levis stuck with nobody to work with. It's brutal, man.
And you know everybody's going to be in that executive meeting, blinders on. No, I don't even know what AB's talking about. We're solid here. Late touchdown and not make it a 17-point loss. You still lost by double digits. We cashed that ticket. AB, thank you very much. All right. Z, let me come over to you because you see a lot from the college game and from the NFL game, and there was a lot of mixing up, as it were, over the weekend. What is your mishap?
The Miami Hurricanes. Really disappointing that for the second year in a row, Georgia Tech are the Hurricanes' daddies. We know what happened last year. The Canes were 4-0, and Mario Cristobal decided not to kneel on the ball but to hand it off. Canes fumble. Georgia Tech scores on a deep pass with just a couple seconds remaining, and they break the Hurricanes' hearts last year. And now this weekend, in Atlanta, the Hurricanes, they're trailing the entire game. They have a chance late. Cam Ward strip sack. Canes lose 28-23. And there goes their mulligan. So the Miami Hurricanes, they probably were facing a scenario where they can lose in the ACC championship and still make the college football playoff. That's done. This weekend, this was their mulligan. You lost this game. Okay, fine. Luckily, the Canes still control their own destiny. Beat Wake Forest this weekend, win at Syracuse to finish the regular season, and you will be in the ACC title game. But now they absolutely have to win the ACC title game to get into the college football playoff. Can't lose anymore.
That is a caveat that I love that they put in, Z, with this 12-team playoff, is that if you win, because now it makes every championship game mean something. But, man, down there in South Florida, you guys have a lot going on. Thank you very much, sir. All right, Raphael, big boy. I got somebody in the chat that says, Dak says he had the Texans under 24.5 last night. And cash, they had 23 at halftime. Are you kidding me? That's a mishap in itself if you had the over. Ouch. All right, Raphael, what's your mishap today?
I had the over last night, too. Thank you for 48.5, not 49. So that was a great call for myself. But my mishaps, I normally don't like to make fun of kickers. Kickers are humans, too. But really, 11 missed field goals yesterday in the NFL. 11. And my boy, Coolville, is now Booville. He missed so many field goals in New Orleans yesterday. He stinks now. I can't believe he missed 3 field goals. Kicking day, really rough yesterday. Don't want to be a kicker this morning.
No doubt about it. We've got another one coming up at the break. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, we'll discuss that with the 49ers. Ouch. Literally, ouch.
Debo.
Come on, Debo. All right. Big Chuck, Charles, coming over to you. What's your Monday mishap?
It has to be my beloved LSU Tigers losing to Alabama 42-13 after College Game Day comes down. McAfee singing. They roll out Livy and Paul. Corso puts on the head for the Tigers, and then they come out and Brian Kelly and company lose to a rookie head coach in Death Valley at night, 42-13. Just can't happen.
It cannot happen. They came out and they dog slapped LSU at home. Absolutely embarrassing. By the way, shout out to Efrain. He says, crew, thank you so much for the membership gift. This is a family. Thank you so much. You're damn right it is. And that's how we build this thing from day one, thanks to AB. Now, my Monday mishap, I don't like to pick on rookies. But you've got to be better. We've already talked about the incredible game in Washington. The Steelers win 28-27. But did anybody see the end of the game? Washington has the football. They get stopped on 4th, and they were like a quarter of a yard. So now they've got to stop. They still had 3 timeouts left. So it's 4th and 1 from the 49. The Steelers, in no universe were they ever going to snap that football. And the rookie, his name's Johnny Newton, not Wayne. He's singing a different tune this morning because this young kid jumps across the line, offsides, game over. Now, what I did like is that his team consoled him on the sidelines. But young Johnny, you cannot have that happen. You would have had a full minute. All you needed was a field goal. But alas, you showed us why you're still young, why the team's still young, and you still have work to do. But you can't jump across. That's a hell of a mishap if I ever saw one. Now, AB, let me come back to you. Because speaking of mishaps, we can talk about the Cowboys every single week. It's getting more and more and more embarrassing. They lose by 28 at home to the Eagles, their rivals. And after the game, what are we talking about? Curtains? Yes, CeeDee Lamb was talking about curtains because he couldn't see the football to get the touchdown in the first quarter, as if that was the difference in the game. Is this the new low for the Cowboys, talking about curtains?
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. All right, so what Coach is talking about in full is that AT&T Stadium was built with a huge glass window, okay, where the sun glares in. CeeDee Lamb's going for a touchdown pass, and he can't see because the sun's in his eyes. Jerry Jones, let me tell you, this is why, and this is true. 98% of all stadiums in the United States are built on a north-south axis. Okay, AT&T Stadium, he didn't listen. He went east and west. You know why they don't do that? Because the sun rises and sets east to west, and the sun glares right in your eyes. All right. Jerry Jones after the game, not knowing fundamentals of the sun, okay, and then being informed of them and then denying those facts goes to show you the problems with the Cowboys for the last 30 years. All right. Now he's smarter than construction folks. The man just is insane.
He's insane. And he said, yeah, let's just build another stadium. Nobody's laughing, Jerry. Except maybe us. And Z, as I looked at the combined passing yards for Trey Lance and the starter, Cooper Rush, 66. The five of us could have passed for more yards than that. Z, we're talking about curtains, and we can't even get to 70 yards passing. What are we doing?
Yeah, this team sucks. I mean, there's no other way around it. But for me, I think one of the bigger stories coming out of this game is Micah Parsons. You know, Micah Parsons, who's not even playing, he's very busy with his podcast. And he mentioned after the game, when asked about McCarthy and whether or not he feels bad, he says something along the lines of, Mike can go and do whatever and wherever he wants. That's a terrible job out of Micah Parsons. You can't – I think Mike McCarthy's a meatball. I don't think he's a good coach. He's clearly not going to be the coach of the Cowboys after this season. He probably shouldn't be the coach of the Cowboys next week. But Micah Parsons has been doing nothing over the last month but recording podcasts. You can't then after the game, when your team's out there getting their butts kicked, and then you're talking about the coach, he can go kick rocks. You have a little bit of respect, all right? Those guys in the locker room, they're not the only ones working. The coaching staff is too. The coaching staff may stink, but they're out there working their butts off while Micah Parsons is wondering what time I'm going to take my podcast this week. You can't talk about the coaching staff like that after a game where you lose 34-6 and you're sitting on your butt, you're doing nothing. Terrible job out of Micah Parsons.
Terrible job. And Raphael, when we're talking about 3-6 and you're worth over $10 billion, this fan base, they're not only irate, but after every single game, you would love to have just one guy say, you know what? We've got to get back to basics. You know what? We've got to get back to it. We got to dig in because our fan base deserves it. You don't see anybody or hear anybody talk like that. It's like the entire franchise is living in their own little bubble.
First of all, last night's game or the Cowboy game felt like it was a road game. There was no Dallas Cowboy fans there. That was more shocking. B, thank you, Micah Parsons, because the first text I got this morning, hey, can you do odds on where Micah Parsons is going to play next year? Thank you for that comment in the locker room. And the one thing I want to say about the Dallas Cowboys, they stink right now. And, hey, Jerry, call AEW. They have a lot of black curtains if you want to cover up something.
Wow. Raphael went there. All right, Charles, let's bring this home on the Cowboys because it normally should be a day that we're touting the Eagles. The Eagles are starting to get better. The Eagles are starting to pound, and the defense is playing really well also. But everybody's talking about the Cowboys and just how bad they are. I think this is the worst that maybe I've seen in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, Eagles look great. The Cowboys, I go back to around 2021, the last time Dak got hurt. They kind of look like this also. But according to Jerry, they still have 8 games to go. So there's still hope in Big D. So we shall see what he has up his sleeve.
John said the problem is, Jerry, it has been forever. Stop talking about the guy and giving him the spotlight, and maybe eventually he will go away. John, we would love to do that. Unfortunately, when you do a show, you talk about the biggest stories of the day or the biggest stories of the weekend, and the Cowboys are the most popular team in the NFL. And unfortunately, it's not close. It really, really isn't. So we'll see. Cowboys are 3-6. Oh, by the way, over the weekend, it was announced that Dak Prescott is contemplating season-ending surgery on his torn hamstring. So that adds to the destruction. $60 million sitting on the bench. Your $40 million wide receiver complaining about curtains. It could not get any worse. But the Commanders and the Eagles playing very, very well. All right, we're about halfway home today. It's a vibe on a Monday. Don't forget, Primetime Live tonight, 7 to 8 Eastern, right here on a Stadium. Still to come, we're talking overs and unders. And also, a big-time star in the NBA is out, perhaps, for the season. We discussed that. On the other side, it's DTL only on Stadium. All right, you degenerates out there, we'll continue on with our YouTube page. And AB, there was some video yesterday, and Debo said, oh, it was just frustration. The 49ers kicker missed 3 kicks. And Debo goes over, gets into it with the snapper, with the holder, and then said afterwards, it's no big deal. I'll smooth it over. The 49ers are not a good football team. Barely won on the road. They were giving 7.5. I think they are in disarray, and it overshadowed the return of Christian McCaffrey.
Look, you cannot have that. And anybody that's ever been in a locker room from the high school level up, these things happen. They happen all the time. But they don't do it publicly, man. And now Shanahan, he's a good coach and he's a good people manager. He'll understand how to address this, but you have to address it in front of the whole team immediately, and you have to put an end to it because that's the kind of thing that will fracture a locker room for real. You cannot have people swinging at the long snapper, man. And that dude wanted to come back, and Debo's like, easy, boy, easy.
It's not a good situation. And Debo's kind of like one of the few guys in the NFL can get away with it and say, I'll figure it out. But you can't have that, period.
I have absolutely no problem with it. Jake Moody missed 3 field goals before eventually hitting the game winner. So everything's okay now. He did hit the game winner, but he missed 3 field goals. NFL kick, this isn't college. College kids will miss kicks all over the field. NFL kickers rarely miss. He missed 3 for the day. You got everybody who's out there working super hard and doing their job, and I get it. You miss 1, all right. 2, whoa. You miss 3, you're blowing the game for us. We're out here working our butts off. I got no problem with Debo Samuel saying whatever he said there. And here's the thing, I'm here in South Florida in Miami with a Dolphin team where the head coach, Mike McDaniel, doesn't hold anyone accountable for making mistakes. Good teams hold each other accountable. I got no problem with what Debo Samuel did there. And you know what? If the locker room is a good locker room, which it probably is there under Shanahan, then guess what? Everything's going to be just fine. The kicker, the long snapper, they certainly understand what Debo was angry about. I got no issue with it.
All right. Very good. No issues and that's kind of what everybody is at. You have your different opinions. You have your way of going about it. And that's why the NFL is what it is. We're back on Stadium in just 5 seconds. All right, we have crossed the bottom of the hour. Thank you also very much for tuning in on this Veterans Day, wherever you might be watching on our YouTube channel, our OGs, our degenerates out there. We love you on YouTube TV, on Amazon Prime Video, on Roku TV, and today we launch on DirecTV. Now, there are other topics other than the NFL. Not many, because it's a busy, busy morning, but we like to put them on a little segment we like to call Educate, Entertain. I don't know how you get much worse, AB, than what's going down in Chi-Town. And that's where Stadium resides. That's our home now. And 3 weeks ago, everybody, 4 touchdowns. They said Caleb Williams, number 1. They're going in to play Jaden Daniels. It's all good. And now the last 3 weeks, they've scored a combined 27 points, 0 touchdowns, and it all fell flat yesterday at home. The Patriots, yes, New England comes in, AB, and they beat them 19-3. It really shows how fast things can go from toast of the town to what are we doing?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, welcome to the NFL, man. And, this is why it's so difficult, because at the beginning of the year, teams don't have tape on you, right? They don't know, all right? They've got tape from college, and they've got a general idea. It's the same thing with a no-fly zone, right? We chart these things, and we look at it, and we say, all right, this is generally how it's going to go. But when you have a new quarterback, it's tough. But then you get tape, and you get tape, and you get tape, right? And if you keep doing the same things and running the same plays, these coaches get paid millions of dollars for a reason, right? They work 20-hour days. Dude, they'll figure it out, man. And that's really where good coaching comes into play. Look, that's why we say, I don't care how the Chiefs are winning. They keep winning. Do you know why? Because they keep adapting, man. It doesn't look the same every game. That's why it's difficult. So the Bears are okay. Just continue to get better. Find little spots and get better. If you're doing that, you'll be all right, man.
Nobody expected much from this year anyway. The start they got out to were okay. But then, Z, as we look forward now, maybe they're back to where we thought they would be. And Caleb Williams, people were comparing him to Mitch Trubisky yesterday on social media. That's not a good day.
Caleb Williams is going to be just fine. Not every rookie does what Jaden Daniels does right away. Not every rookie does what C.J. Stroud did last year. Most of them struggle in their first year, and a guy like Caleb Williams, who is way too talented to not be a successful NFL quarterback. I'm a little bit down at his production this year because I thought he was going to be great right away, but that's okay. He's going to wind up being just fine. Who's not going to be fine is Matt Eberflus. Obviously, he is going to be fired because you can't risk having a coach and having an offense that is essentially ruining Caleb Williams' chances of being a great quarterback. So he's going to be out. But the thing that stands out the most to me is this is a Bears team that was a Hail Mary or a Tyreek Stevenson away from being 5-2. The Washington Commanders, they took their soul that day. They took the Bears' soul for this season. And instead of being 5-2, the Bears are now 4-5, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, now topic number 2, talking about taking your soul. Raphael, let me come over to you, because in the NBA, a big-time loss yesterday. The Thunder, and we really don't pay attention to the NBA until January or February. They're the second favorite to win it all behind the Celtics. They are at, let me take a look at my notes, plus 475. And now Chet Holmgren, he goes up, he goes down, fractured pelvis, and they're saying he'll be reevaluated in 8 to 10 weeks. They're saying he potentially could be out for the year. This is devastating for the Thunder.
Horribly devastating. And I can't believe I've never seen a broken pelvis injury in the NBA. I had to actually go back and see if that was a misspelled word or injury, but broken pelvis. I feel bad. This game last night, we opened up the Clippers, OKC, hosting the Clippers today. It was 10.5. The injury comes down. Now it's 6.5. If this game was after Christmas, because we all know NBA doesn't get action until after Christmas, this would be a -4 game. That's how much you're telling me that no one's betting the NBA right now. It only moves 3.5, 4 points, but devastating injury for OKC because I had them maybe going to the Western Conference Finals.
And Charles, the other big injury yesterday, Anthony Davis. He's leading the NBA in scoring, 32 points a game. Last year he played 76 games. He said, I want to play in every game. Well, that didn't happen. And now he gets hit in the eye. They win, but he could be out for a little bit as well. This guy can't get out of his own way.
This is just Anthony Davis in a nutshell. I dealt with this when he was in New Orleans. He stayed on the injury list. He just goes to L.A. He can't play a complete season. So this is just the norm for him. I expect him to get injured, sadly, every season.
It's incredible. It's incredible. So a lot of injuries happening not only in the NFL, but also in the NBA as well. All right, tonight, Monday Night Football, prime time, live, 7 to 8 Eastern, and I think it's going to be a really good one. Let's play our little game of over-under. Right now, LA, and you already know that Z's on the Rams -2.5. Raphael has a teaser, the total 48.5. You know that I'm on the over, so we're heavily invested, AB, in this game. But we love to bet props, too. And here are the numbers for the two quarterbacks tonight. 2 on one side, Matthew Stafford on the other. Pick one. Which one do you like over under that really makes you feel good, AB?
Matthew Stafford. I don't hate either of these, but I don't love either of them either. These are large numbers, but I'll go with Matthew Stafford because I think that there's a chance that he kind of uncorks a few bombs tonight, man. Yeah, I'll go with Stafford.
Kind of feels that way just a little bit. Z, let me come over to you. We've been seeing a lot of numbers lately that are in the 230 to 250 range in the NFL. The books are being very, very conservative, but for a reason. What do you like here, either guy?
Yeah, I like Stafford under. I like Stafford under 257.5 yards. I think they're going to have a lot of success, Kyren Williams running the football against this Dolphin defense. So, if we're talking, 125, 150 yards rushing for the Rams, you're not also getting 260, 270 in the air from Stafford. So I'm going under for Stafford.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to have Bengals and Ravens again, 35-34, where everybody goes absolutely bananas. Raphael, talk to me.
Give me both unders. This total opened up at 50, and it's now 48.5. A run-happy game. If you're Miami, you need to run the ball to keep that high-power offense of the Rams sitting there watching. I think both teams go under.
Look at AB over there. We all had late nights, baby. We all had late nights. You're damn right. Big Chuck, talk to me.
I'm kind of leaning towards Tua over. I think they could potentially be down to this Rams team and having to throw. And if he gets Tyreek back, Jalen Waddle, HN. So I think he could get 245.
Okay. Let's switch over now to the rushers, and we'll dive deeper into it tonight on primetime. But look at the chain, and then Kyren Williams. He's kind of a guy nobody talks about, AB, but Williams, when he gets out there, he runs hard. He picks it up, and he puts it down. What do you like here?
All right, so first off, and somebody help me out here. Kyren Williams, I believe, has a touchdown in 11 straight games.
I think so.
Yep.
Like, it's some insane number, right? So I haven't seen it, but, anytime TD, I mean, I don't know why we would bet it. I like his over. And, Devon, he could be splitting with Mostert. Z-Man will be able to break it down better than I can. But, yeah, give me Kyren, man.
This is your squad, Z. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm going to go over rushing yards for Devon Achane. He's been great in the passing game since Tua's returned, but he's also been a major focal point of the offense. I do believe both teams are going to run the ball well tonight. The Dolphins have given a lot more emphasis to the running game, so I do like Devon Achane over 57.5 rushing yards.
All right, very good. By the way, AB, I think Kyren Williams has scored the first touchdown of the game 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7, something like that. Raphael, talk to me.
Devon, get the table. I agree with Zaslow right there. I think he's going to have a big game. I can see him about 65, 68 yards. He's going to be probably running back number 1 in the next couple of weeks. I think he's going to get a lot more carries.
I went through multiple tables courtesy of the Dudley boys. Charles, what do you got?
Give me Kyren over. I think they're going to feed him, and then his anytime touchdowns minus 220. But kind of like how with McCaffrey, you could look at him scoring the touchdown in the first half. That kind of gets it down to plus money because he's generally been scoring those in the first and second quarter.
Shout out to Jared. He said failed to score last game, but the rest of the games Kylen scored. Elliot says Kyren Williams has scored the first touchdown every game this year besides last week. That's how automatic this guy has been. That's why we can't play him in the gym tonight, because you got to be plus 1,000 or higher. By the way, somebody pointed out last night that I'm 0-32 in the gym picks so far this year. 0 for 32. That is brutal. Now, Tyreek tonight is questionable, but he still has numbers that are still on the board. And AB last night, Nico Collins, he was going to play all day, and then all of a sudden, all of his numbers started dropping off. I'd be very careful tonight, but they still have Hill in the 70s. What do you like, Hill or Cooper Kupp?
Well, Hill scares me in regards to the injury, but when Hill's on the field, he could go for 150 yards at any time, anywhere. He's that good of a player. And again, Z-Man will be able to tell us, in regards to the injury, I don't know. Cooper Kupp, 67.5. I don't really like it all too terribly much. And remember, Jalen Ramsey won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He understands this offense. He practiced against this offense. He understands the coaching staff, right? I don't like either. Like, I'll just be honest. I don't like either guys in this one because it's tough, man. They're good numbers.
It is. Now, Z, I know that you're already on Jalen Waddle. What are they saying down there in Florida about the availability of Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, I would certainly lean toward the under for Tyreek Hill. I don't expect him to play. Like I said, I think we're at the point of the season where when you're 2-6, you're not exactly fighting through these injuries. So I don't know that he's going to play. If he does, is he limited? I just, if you want to talk about from a fantasy perspective, because fantasy deals with the numbers and we're talking stuff like over under receiving yards, Christian McCaffrey made his season debut yesterday and was the number 1 overall pick in almost every fantasy football draft. So he's been a disappointment. Right behind him, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's been a first round pick, first half of the first round pick for fantasy football. And obviously a lot of it has to do with Tua being out, but Tyreek's been a major disappointment this year. I would go under.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, by the way, yesterday, both of his unders, attempts and yards. Got about 30 seconds for both. Raphael, talk to me.
He'll open up at 81.5. Now it's 75.5. Complete under. I don't think he plays either.
Wow. So, Charles, you feel the same way?
Yeah, I'm like an under. He could play and then get injured, come out, and you're stuck with him. And then Puka takes a lot of that. I'd look at catches for Cooper Kupp because Puka's taking a lot of the yardage and volume for that Rams offense when he plays.
I think that's really good analysis by all of you guys because Tyree, if he comes out and he tests it out and he tries it out and then can't go, as long as he steps on the field and he plays a second, most books are not going to give you your bet back. They just are not going to do it. So if anything, play the under and then say, prove me wrong. Gentlemen, well freaking done. All right, still to come, we've got Rafi's stat of the day. And today, it's all about the Los Angeles Rams. And also, for those of you that weren't here at the top of the hour, don't worry about it. We got you covered, too. It's a vibe. It's a holiday. It is DTL Live on Stadium. All right, you degenerates out there, we'll continue on our YouTube channel. And AB, another NBA story that's kind of been under the radar is the fact that the Milwaukee Bucks just aren't that good. And yesterday they're playing the Celtics. And you remember when you were in junior high and you do that thing where you hold your hand out and then your buddy would go and you go. Giannis did that on the court to Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown called him a child. Maybe the greatest quote I've ever heard of one star towards another. What did you make of that?
Okay, so I saw it. If it's done out of fun, I enjoy it. If it's done like serious, I enjoy it even more. Forget it, man. They're the champ, dude. Go take a shot at him. You're Giannis. You got a ring, too. The NBA, I love because you get to see the players up close and you get to see all that football. You got helmets and everything. Dude, I like it, man. Like, it's harmless. That's the kind of fun stuff I like.
It felt that way, Charles, right?
Yeah, he's European. They have a different sense of humor, so I didn't take anything from it. I thought it was kind of comical.
Yeah, he's European, Raphael.
I think the Bucks have better things to worry about, like their record.
Can you imagine, Z, having Giannis and Damian Lillard and playing as bad as they're playing right now, and then that yesterday, you're going to do that?
Team was 30-13 when Adrian Griffin was fired. 30-13. And we know the way last year went for them. Doc Rivers and the Bucks are 2-8 now to start this season. Team's a total disaster. Doesn't help that Chris Middleton is never healthy, but he's at the point in his career where he's never going to be healthy again. It doesn't seem. It's been a colossal flop, the acquisition of Damian Lillard.
There are 15 teams in the Eastern Conference. 15. One has a worse record than the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is a team that won an NBA title just a couple of years ago. They traded for Damian Lillard to try to do it again. And now at 2-8, Toronto, who the Lakers beat yesterday, by the way, they are 2-9. They've lost 4 in a row. The Bucks have lost 2 in a row. Not a good look. And conversely, you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers at 11-0. Let's go. Showing up. All right, let's bring this bad boy home. Thank you to all of you who tuned in on a holiday for us. We are back on Stadium and DirecTV in just 3 seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody, to DTL on a Veterans Day Monday morning. I got the best crew in the damn game. A, B, Z, Charles, Raphael is here as well. And as we look forward to tonight, AB, and kind of wrap up week number 10, it's now starting to get serious, not only in the NFL, but in college football. One thing I kind of wanted to hit on today, because we always like to get ahead of the number, but how much did you feel like this past weekend that there were a lot of games like Georgia and Ole Miss, like Miami, that we're almost getting the playoffs started now? And it's really, I think, not too early to look at some of the odds about teams winning, going to the playoffs, all those different things.
Oh, it's not too early at all. And I'll tell you this. I mean, we got Tennessee, Georgia this Saturday. It's going down, all right? And the winner, Tennessee wins this game, they're in the SEC championship, and they're going to be in the college football playoff. And let me give you a hint right now before anybody even pays attention. Georgia is minus 9.5 against Tennessee. Tennessee's higher ranked than Georgia. Minus 9.5. Yeah, I've already jumped on Tennessee plus 9.5.
Z, you're our college football expert. How is that possible, and what are we missing?
Well, I think we're looking at body of work. You know, going into this game against Ole Miss, I still felt Georgia was the best team in the country. Rather shocked that they lost the game at Ole Miss, but I'm in Athens this weekend. I'm there for Georgia, Tennessee this weekend. I'm really excited about it. You know, does it lose any of its luster because Georgia lost this past weekend? I don't think so, because while AB's right, Tennessee is playing for a spot in the SEC championship. Georgia's playing for a spot in the playoffs now. Like, their playoff hopes. They're not going to make the SEC championship game, but their playoff hopes are on the line this weekend in Athens. So it's a night game. It's an absolute monster. I'm really excited to be there.
I saw somebody yesterday, and I'm dead serious when I say this, that was handicapping the teams that could get in to the college football playoffs. And they said, if this falls right and this falls right, we could have 6 spots for the SEC.
No.
Let's hold the phone a little bit.
Let me say this real quick. Real
AB,
quick.
go. Yep.
If Georgia beats Tennessee, It is a nightmare scenario for the SEC because think about this, all right? You're going to have Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, keep going down the list, all with 2 losses. There are going to be 8 teams with 2 losses, and Texas A&M still have to play each other next week. It is a nightmare scenario for the SEC if Georgia beats Tennessee. If Tennessee wins, clears all of it. If they don't, nightmare, man.
It really, really is. You set that up nicely. In Texas A&M, Saturday, November 30th. So, Raphael, everything that we all wanted from a 12-team playoff we're getting in season number 1. To AB's point, LSU, even though they got blown out, 2 losses. Missouri, yeah, don't worry about them. Alabama, looking good. Mississippi just beats Georgia. We've got to win right now, and we got to have style points too.
Style points huge. AB, if Tennessee or if Georgia would have lost or won last week, that number would have been 12.5, 13, not 9.5. So you're probably hoping they would have won so you could got more points on that one because we were ready to post that before the game started. This is a nice, not good scenario because if AB's plan works, that means the playoff doesn't work because then we have more of these SEC teams in the tournament. That means if you're an SEC team, watch out. That means Indiana could get screwed. BYU could get screwed. Army could get screwed just because they're not in the SEC. No, this scenario did not work out.
I think it works out great, Mr. Curmudgeon. It's going to be great. They're not going to get screwed out of it. But I always love your negative perspective. Charles, bring us home on this right now because we always knew the SEC was going to dominate, but I don't think anybody thought that Georgia would lose twice or that nobody thought that this would happen.
We're living in a crazy world, definitely seeing double Georgia and Alabama losing twice. So it's going to be interesting to see who navigates through this gauntlet of a schedule, ends up in the SEC championship, and who ultimately makes the playoffs.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot wait. We're going to be adding shows, that's for damn sure, to just discuss the college football playoffs.
By the way, obviously Tennessee, Georgia is a monster this weekend. Indiana at Ohio State.
Yep. Oh, my God. Oh,
my
God.
Very big.
That's not an SEC game. We're not allowed to talk about that.
Can we argue that this is it's the first time Indiana's ever had this record? I would argue this is the biggest game in the history of their school and program.
It is.
Right?
It is.
We all agree? I think so. Shout out to Carl, by the way, because you guys know we have really smart people in the chat. He said, I gave you Army last week, -4.5 is bet of the week. Well, that hit, and we caught it from 3 to 6.5. Thank you, Carl. That makes him 8-1 in the chat with the bet of the week. Pay attention to our crew. They're everywhere. Now, I know I see that live number just continues to climb. Thank you all very much. What a great number on a live Monday morning. But a lot of you can't be here at 10 a.m. We have you in our minds. It's time for a little something we like to call the whip around. Where we do 10 seconds or less, one nugget on each play. AB, start us off.
Monday Night Football tonight could get weird. I think that it will. That's why I'm going to take a shot at a quality pick, not a quantity here in props. Give me just one reception. Puka Nacua longest over 23.5 yards.
Puka, I love this guy. All right, Charles, you got 2. Talk to me.
NHL Kings versus Flames. They've went over in 6 of their last 8. Give me the over 6. Monday Night Football, Devin Achane over 46.5 receiving yards. Tours back, he's had 14 catches and 108 receiving yards. I love him to get at least 47 receiving yards tonight.
Boom and boom. Z-Man, let's go.
I'm going with the Rams. It's an emotional hedge because if the Dolphins lose, I'm like, all right, fine. At least I'm cashing a ticket. So Rams -2.5. And you know what? This is how we make the money tonight. +450. Jalen Waddle. I don't think Tyreek Hill plays. +450. Jalen Waddle, 80+ receiving yards.
These always looking out for the fam. Raphael, let's go.
Sportsbook love emotional hedges. Give me a 6-point teasers on Monday Night Football. We would take the Rams +3.5 under 55 at -120. And then give me a dissociation. Give me a Chicago Bulls Zach LaVine over 18.5 points -120.
All right, and finally, if you're going to cash with the coach, I'm putting my record on the line. 9-0 in my last 9 picks. And tonight, we're sailing to the over, 48.5, minus 115. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I really do. It's a gut. And if that's going to happen, then Tua is going to throw at least 2 touchdowns tonight, and that's only at minus 110. All right, a little bit of housekeeping before we get out of here. The Howie Schwab Crew play of the day, AB, is what?
The Rams, minus 2.5. The Crew's all over it tonight. They love Z-Man's play. There you go, L.A.
Little respect for Z. And then Rafi, stat of the day. Raphael, what do we got?
We're going to the Monday Night Football kind of an angle. The LA Rams are 20-5 straight up when playing as a favorite, and they've won 10 out of their last 11. And you're getting a short number at 2.5. Grab it now because it's going to go to 3.
Z, does this scare you at all, the 2.5? Do you recommend to anybody just maybe laying the 40 or 50 cents, or how confident are you with this 2.5 number?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Look, I can't tell the future, all right? But I feel like the Rams can win this game by a field goal, so I would just lay the points here.
All right. Phil says Waddle tonight, coach, but lock it in now. I feel like, AB, that Z is the MVP of the show today. I feel like the chat's really got his back.
Yeah, look, I mean, these are sharp plays, dude. Like, they're all over it, right? And look, Phil's our guy too, man. So if Phil's in, I'm in, Z-Man's in. All right, let's go.
All right. Shout out to all of you who gifted today. Robert, our resident benefactor, another 5 memberships. So remember, you have to be watching live in order to win. But now we want all of you to get all of our content, which includes the podcast every single weekday, includes weekend wagers on Friday, includes a bonus segment that the entire crew does that we drop around 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I encourage all of you to become premium members as we continue to grow. And one more reminder, we start on DirecTV today. I cannot tell you how proud I am of the crew, of the guys, of the support, all of it. It means the world, especially on this Veterans Day. So now it's time for all of you to go out into the world. If you missed any of the show, we replay on Stadium at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Be kind to one another. Be honest with each other. That's the only way that this thing can work. And understand this. There's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, lovable, my man AB, Z-Man from South Florida, my man from the Dirty Big Chuck, Raphael, he's back in the house, and producer man always behind the scenes, making the show look like $1 million. We grind for you so we can win with you. And I am simply the coach. I love doing this. I love running the ship. We are live every single weekday right here on Stadium. We'll see you tonight at 7 Eastern for primetime. Good luck.